everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level language arts lesson, and today we're going to be talking about narrating a story. So in the last video, we read about James's trip, his bicycle trip, and so if you saw that video, see if you can remember and retell the story. And remember to use those the sequencing language that we learned about in the last video. You can pause the video for a moment and try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to continue. All right, so we're going to read about more about James's trip and where does James go and what does he do. So again, use some sequencing language to make some predictions about what happens next in James's story. All right, so James writes an email to his friend Shanu, and were your predictions correct? So you can either pause the video and do this part on your own, or you can follow along while I read and fill in the gaps. Since I wrote to you last, I've written to Galicia in the northwest of Spain. It's an incredible place with fantastic scenery. Maybe, although I'm not a fan of the food. Way too much seafood and not enough veggies. Um, After I left Lyon, I had 10 days of wonderful bike rides. Then I finally made it to Santiago de Compostela. There were hundreds of other cyclists and walkers there too, because it's a famous pilgrimage site for Catholics. After an hour or so, the crowd started to annoy me, so I decided to head out of town towards the west coast. When I have time this weekend, I'll send you a longer email. I haven't spoken to my family nor my friends in weeks. But you might even get a call from me. Sorry for the short email, but as usual, I'm ready to fall into bed after hours of writing. I promise to write something longer and send pictures too very soon. Take it easy, James. All right, so now we're going to they're going to give us a little help this time. Before we were just filling in words, taking some guesses. But here, this time, we can try it again with some of the words that they're suggesting. So since I wrote to you last, I've written to Galicia in the northwest of Spain. It's an incredible place with fantastic scenery. Probably yet. I'm not a fan of the food. Way too much seafood and not enough veggies. After I left Lyon, I had 10 days of wonderful bike rides. And I finally made it to Santiago de Compostela. There were hundreds of other cyclists and walkers there too, because it's a famous pilgrimage site for Catholics. After an hour or so, the crowd started to annoy me, so I decided to head out of town towards the west coast. All right, the second half of this email. If I have time this weekend, I'll send you a longer email. I haven't spoken to my family nor my friends in weeks, but you might even get a call from me. Sorry for the, oh, sorry, this would be so you might even get a call from me. Sorry for the short email, but as usual, I'm ready to fall into bed after hours of writing. I promise to write something longer and send pictures to you very soon. Take it easy, James. All right, so the missing words from James's email were all conjunctions, and these are words that connect ideas in a sentence. So we'll look at two types of conjunctions, coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. So coordinating conjunctions connect independent clauses, and those are parts of a sentence that could be a sentence by themselves. Coordinating conjunctions show the relationship between the two halves or between the two clauses, and we usually put a comma after the first clause and before the coordinating conjunction. So one example of that would be the conjunction and. And joins two similar clauses or two clauses that are part of a list. So I had 10 days of wonderful bike rides and I finally made it to Santiago de Compostela. I got up early and I started cycling. Or is another coordinated conjunction, and or shows a choice between two different options. I'm going to go swimming or I'm going to have lunch. On weekends, I usually go for a walk or I meet my friends. But, yet, and so are also coordinating conjunctions. But and yet show a contrast between different ideas. It's an incredible place with fantastic scenery, yet I'm not a fan of the food. Sorry for the short email, but I'm ready to fall into bed after hours of writing. So shows that the second clause is the result of the first one. The crowd started to annoy me, so I decided to head out of town. I'm feeling hungry, so I want to find a restaurant. So coordinating conjunctions are used between the two clauses. They do not usually come at the start of the first clause. So, sorry for the short email, but I'm ready to fall into bed after hours of writing. But you wouldn't say, but I'm ready to fall into bed after hours of writing. Sorry for the short email. So that order really wouldn't make sense, really wouldn't work. All right, so now you can pause the video and try to complete the sentences with either and or but, yet, or so, and more than one answer might be possible. So go ahead, pause the video and try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. I woke up early and I still feel tired. Either and or so, because feeling tired might be the result of waking up early. She wants to be a doctor, so she is going to medical school. He loves pizza, but, or maybe yet, he hates mushrooms. I was tired, either but or yet. I stayed up late to finish my work. The concert was amazing and the music was perfect. They took a plane and the flight was delayed. I like coffee, but or yet I also enjoy tea. She studied all night, so she got a good grade on her test. He went to the park and he played basketball. The movie was sad, but or yet it had a happy ending. Now we're going to talk about subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions connect a supporting idea to a main idea within a sentence. The subordinating conjunction comes before the supporting idea. However, the order of the clauses can change. So when I left Leon, that's the supporting clause, I had 10 days of wonderful bike rides. That's the main clause. Or you could put that in the other order. I had 10 days of wonderful bike rides when I left Leon. But it's important to note that when the supporting clause comes first, we use a comma between the two clauses, but when the main clause comes first, we do not. Now, if and when show the reader the situation in which the main clause takes place. If I have time this weekend, I'll send you a longer email. When I left Leon, I had 10 days of wonderful bike rides. Before, after, because, and since are also subordinating clauses. Before and after show when the actions in the clauses take place. For example, I checked my bags carefully before I left the hotel. After I was there for an hour or so, the crowd started to annoy me. And because and since show the reason for the main clause. There were hundreds of other cyclists there too because it's a famous site. Since I wanted to find something to eat, I stopped in the city center. All right, so this time you're going to complete the sentences using because, since, before, after, when, and if, and more than one answer may be possible. Go ahead and pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So I will eat breakfast before I go to work. After, or we could also maybe use when. The storm passed, we went outside to check the damage. When I get either when or after I get home, I take a nap, I will take a nap. If it rains, we will stay inside all day. I missed my morning workout, either because or since. I will get up late, or you could even use after here. Oops. Either since or because. I love reading. I always carry a book with me. Before we start the presentation, let's review our notes. We can catch a movie after we finish dinner. We can watch a movie after we finish dinner. When I was younger, I wanted to be an astronaut. And we can go for a walk either if or since it's not too hot. All right, so again, you're going to think of a trip, a vacation, a journey that you can remember well. Again, think about where did you go? How did you get there? What did you do there? What other memories do you have? You might even, if you did a writing for the last video, use that same subject and just add to it so you don't have to start completely over. You can modify it and add the things that we talked about during this lesson. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, no, that won't work because they want you to write an email this time. So, but you can still choose the same place or the same vacation to write about if you would like to. So you're going to think about who are you writing to? Where are you? How did you get there? At least 3 things that you've done while you were there. How do you feel about your trip? And what are you going to do next? Then go ahead and write the email. Make sure that your work meets the criteria. Does it explain where you are? Does it explain what you are doing? Does it use at least 3 coordinating conjunctions and or but, yet, or so? And at least 3 subordinate conjunctions, since, because, before, after, if, and when. So again, if you would like some feedback on that, you can actually send me the email at this email address. And I'll give you some feedback on your writing to see how well you met the criteria. All right, so this is just some review. Be sure that you know what are coordinating conjunctions and be able to give some examples of those. What are subordinating conjunctions? Give examples of those. And think about how can using conjunctions improve your narrative writing. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share. And if you have any comments or questions, leave those for me in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.